Ranjini Krishnaswamy. Welcome to Scholastic Conversations. This is season 1 and we're talking about books and education and reading, all our favorite subjects to talk about. So I'll just start with a little something about yourself.
Yes, first of all, Tushita, thank you very much for having me here. And Scholastic and I go a long way back. You were not even perhaps born at that. Okay, yes. Long way. Okay, talking about myself. Okay, I have been in academia for 45 years to be very exact, 25 years of which I've been a principal. And the last 5 years, I've been helping set up schools. Okay, so basically, I'm a kind of a consultant, and I've taught at all levels, both school, primary school, secondary section, teacher training, ECC, B.Ed, everything. Okay, and I was very thankful that the government of India, for all my little contribution, as it were, they awarded me a national award in the year 2009. Yes.
Oh, congratulations, ma'am.
No, not at all. Now it's old hat. Now the only thing I want a Padma Shri.
Something
that's the next in the hierarchy.
Yeah, okay. Definitely.
Yes. So I was a teacher for almost 15 years, and after that I became a principal of a school that was being set up. I was fortunate enough to get in at the beginning. I started with 21 students in grade 1, and by the time I retired from there, I had over 2,100 from grades 1 to 12. And after that, my next stop was at a school that was going through some amount of teething trouble. They wanted someone to kind of put them together. I was fortunate enough to be there at the right time, at the right place. And having done that, I decided, okay, now it's time for me to move on. And God has been so good to me at every time when I wanted a little change. The right breaks have come in. And a friend came up to me and she said, help me set up a school. So I said, okay, that's fine. And that's how I am currently the educational director at the Dosti group of schools. Our mandate is to set up 3 schools. I've set up 1 school. And my job here is from the drawing board, the affiliation. Okay, the entire thing, including first batch of students too. So here now, the school is 3 years old. We got up to standard 9, and I'm going to be appearing for their board exams in 2022. Unfortunate that this pandemic has put up, I won't say stop, but it's kept our other projects on hold currently. But God willing, this too will pass. Yes.
Definitely. Yeah. So what keeps you motivated to be a passionate educator?
Trishita, I feel that as teachers, we're very fortunate. We may not get much in terms of salary, but what we do get, we get to have tomorrow in our classrooms today.
Right.
Okay? So I believe I'm part of the nation builders, of society. And that huge passion, the junoon that I have, share with tomorrow what I've been doing. Yes.
What does it take to be a student's favorite teacher?
I become a child myself. So you see my white hair now. When I'm in class, I think I undergo a kind of a different undergo metamorphosis, and I become like them. I start becoming a 16-year-old once again, and that's what makes me, because then I'm one of them,
Right.
And that's what I think that makes me.
That does, definitely. And how is reading as a skill set help students in your school? What examples have you seen?
How can you ever be a good teacher or even a good pupil without reading? We as young people, our greatest punishment was if my mother told me I'm not allowed to read tomorrow. Okay? We used to hide books in our bags because our parents wouldn't want us to read so much. I still remember in the night, a torch be sitting when I was in the 4th standard and 5th standard, Five Find Outers and Dog, the Rocking Down Mystery and the Lobby Fair Mystery with a torch because Mummy had told us you can't read. Lights out at 10 o'clock. Now, because one reads, your vocabulary improves, first thing, okay? 2, you get to see a different world altogether. Indian books written by Indian authors are relatively new, say just in the last 10 years. But when I was a child, we didn't have too much of that. So Enid Blyton was my favorite author, okay, as a student, as a young girl. And then we graduated to Agatha Christie. Then when we became a little older, James Hadley Chase, it was not allowed to read. We were not allowed to read the book. And then we graduated to Harold Robbins and so on and so forth. Okay. So, it gives you good vocabulary. It helps you to see things from a different perspective, a different viewpoint altogether. Because see, that's the Westerner's viewpoint. Yeah. All right? And then gives you an imagination. An imagination, because the visual thing is not there. So when they say that the alley was narrow, dark, and he felt his way as he was walking through, I had to close my eyes and imagine that. So as a result of which my imagination increases. And because of all these things, I'm able to write better. And I believe the same thing is handed down to my students too.
So what is the right way, do you think, to channelize a kid's energy and curiosity?
Energy towards reading?
Yes.
Okay. I believe, surround them with books. And for that, parents also have to be readers. And I'm sorry, Trishita, that the current generation of parents hardly read. Okay? People of my generation read all the while. And what they read also now, they read in the thing, they don't read newspapers. Everything. They say, I get everything on my... That is a news feed. It's not a newspaper. So when you hold the book in the hand, that musty smell of books, that great high, we should make our children read. So surround them by books, with books. Make parents should be readers and give them presents. When there's a birthday, give them a book. For Diwali, give them a book, And every night when they're going to sleep, make it a habit to read to them.
Yeah.
Read it to them. See, I have a daughter who has 2 children, one age 9 and one who's 6. Every day it's compulsory because she's seen me doing this. So now every day the children have to spend minimum 1 hour reading on their own. Okay?
That's good.
Yes. And if they don't know the meanings of it, the dictionary is there next to them. They have to look up the meaning, or they're allowed to come and ask Mummy. Now because everybody is working from home, so unless they're on a con call or something, allow them to come and ask and show them how to use a dictionary. Yes. Okay? And in the night before they go to sleep, make it a point to read out stories to them. And give them different books, some mythology, some mystery, something about give them a wide variety. Including books like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Vishnu Puran, everything, so that we have an all-rounded, blended thing. Yes.
And this was parents, but what do you suggest kids who want to start their journey for themselves? Like, what should they do? Being a non-reader, how should they go about it?
Let them come to the library any point of time. As a teacher, make them come to the library any point of time. They're allowed to read. Okay? If when they come early to school, keep their bags, go to the library. All right? At home, also. As a school head, as a school director, as someone with some amount of authority, make sure that you give whatever their rewards are should be in the form of books. Little gift coupons, books, so that even if you're buying an old set, and in what we normally do, and which I have done, I've asked children to bring their old books which they've finished reading, bring it to school. So they have a class library, they have a school library. So during the class, when they finish their maths or something, and they have free time, as an incentive, you say, I'll let you go and read that book. So he needs to know that it's a privilege. If you say go and read, then they think, it's a punishment. But if you say,
wonderful idea.
There's some fast, I'll let you go and read a book. So that sort of a thing. Give them a lot of things. And as teachers, during the free time, make sure that you read to them.
Right.
Give them different words. Ask them to break up the words into smaller words. And let's play words building, Scrabble, these sort of things,
Definitely.
Play with words. As a teacher, you should play with words, So it's important.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful tip for teachers as well.
My basic degree is in chemistry, okay? I'm actually a chemistry teacher when I started out teaching. But somewhere down the line, I found that I wanted to teach English. I wanted to introduce children to the mysteries and the beauty of, reading, poetry, and so on. So then I told my principal, I said, I'd like to go back to the university and I want to study. I went back to college. I went and I did a BA, I did an MA and so on. And then I took on to teaching English because I found that while chemistry is not bad, it's like I felt that it restricted me in some way. So of course, the chemistry teachers will not like me for saying that, but I started doing this. And then I found that as a human being, as a teacher, I was able to touch greater dimensions of children's growth. Yeah.
Definitely. And one difference that you see between a reader and a non-reader?
You know what? I feel readers, the world is highly widened.
Yes.
Because they can become Ruskin Bond, they can become Arthur Miller, they can become, what's her name? My God, Anita Desai, Kiran Desai, and read their books, and they're able to understand. They're able to look at people from a different viewpoint, plus their own. And as a result, their imagination and scope of vision is widened.
Yes.
But a non-reader, his or her vision is limited. Because I've noticed when I tell them, writer, how was it today? How was your exam? Oh, it was nice. Now, nice is such a lukewarm way of expressing it. He doesn't say it was terrible, it was awful, not good at all. Or you say, superb, I'm going to get 100 marks. I aced the paper. You know what I'm trying to say? You're able to say the same thing in 100 different ways. So your vocabulary increases when you're a reader. And I hope, which is the last book you read, Trishita?
My God, I've already read 52 books this year. I'm currently reading Middlemarch by George Eliot.
What is that?
Middlemarch by George Eliot.
Okay, George Eliot. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Currently I'm into reading a lot of books about films, okay? I'm very fond of Hindi films, especially music in Hindi films. So I'm reading a book on Naushad by Raju Bharatan. Rather, I'm rereading that book. It tells you about Naushad the man, the music he made, and the people's careers whom he influenced. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm very fond of reading such books.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your wonderful tips. And I hope it will help everybody, not just parents, but students and teachers as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. You're welcome, Trishita. Yes, bye-bye.
Bye.